am so excited to share tips for our latest recipe with Protective Diet Education. It is French vanilla nice cream. Dairy-free, nut-free, sugar-free, of course on a protective diet, additive-free. This recipe is so exciting because it's made with pantry staples that we use for breakfast. So healthy, but I want to make sure that you've got the right tools to do the job. You need a high-speed blender, like a Blendtec, a Vitamix. Those will do the job to blend the batter and get that batter chilling. It needs to be nice and cold in order to produce awesome, creamy, frozen ice cream in your electric ice cream maker, which is the next appliance I've been urging you for over 6 years to check out your secondhand stores, especially in the fall and winter, for an electric ice cream maker. They have 4 parts. 4. So make sure you get all 4 of them if you pick one up. I've found so many of these ice cream makers in secondhand shops because people buy them, but they're still into buying the pre-made ice cream in the grocery store. And so they donate them come fall or winter when they need room in their kitchen around the holidays. So that's why we're putting out this recipe now to go along with our apple crumble, all of our pies, our sweet potato pie, our pumpkin pies, our apple crumble. Did I say that, Jerry? Yes, I did. Oh, he loves the apple crumble, and our apple pie, and our fruit crumbles, and all of our pastries and desserts on a protective diet. The 4 parts you're looking for: the base, it's an electric ice cream maker, make sure it works, the churning wand, and the cover. And then we have the frozen part. Let me get that. And you want to put this in the coldest part of your freezer for at least 24 hours. I say go 48. And put some frozen vegetables in it. That will speed up the chill. And you want to quickly assemble this. Put the lid on the top. My tips today are to show you how to pour your French vanilla batter, because it's so thick, into your ice cream maker without it spilling all over this top cover piece. I have 2 tricks I could show you. Is if you have a friend in the kitchen with you, a sous chef, you could have them hold this steady as you pour it. It will keep the wand in place. Thanks, Jerry. And or put the lid on. You want to make sure that wand's in there before you pour your batter. Big mistake. To pour it without the wand, it'll freeze and you won't be able to put the wand in. Put your batter in a container that's rectangular or square, so you have a pointier corner to pour from. And when you're pouring this, use a spatula, pour from a high point, because then it won't get all over the top of your ice cream maker, and then you'll never have to wash that and clean up after it. As you can see, this ice cream batter is beautifully thick because I followed the recipe's directions on the blending time. Make sure you blend it for that full 3 minutes to get this thick, creamy batter. No fat in this recipe. We're getting the creaminess from the blending process. And be sure to clean as you go. Wash up those dishes. And while this is churning, I like to put something cold on top of it. You could use frozen vegetables. You could use a cold pack if it will stay on without falling off, like a lunchbox cold pack. That will speed up your processing time, but it takes about 20 to 40 minutes, I would say, in there. Mine usually takes about 25-30 minutes because I put my freezer bowl in the coldest part of my freezer, and I put something cold on top of it. And I'm going to come back when this is done and show you my freezer scooping technique. So we want to make our scoops and freeze them for later so that we don't have to eat this whole batch in one sitting anymore. I'm going to show you how to store it in your freezer so you can have a scoop a night or 2 scoops a night. Come on, this is protective diet ice cream. But you want to freeze your storage container while this is churning, so this is nice and cold. So when you make your scoops, they're not going to melt before you get them into the freezer. I'll be back shortly. Okay, I took the ice cream wand out and I scraped all the ice cream back into the ice cream maker bowl. And I put this in my freezer for the few minutes while I got my toppings and everything I want to scoop with my ice cream, my frozen container for the storage technique. And if your ice cream comes out and it's not frozen enough, it should be soft enough to scoop, you can put this back into your freezer for about 30 minutes. Don't put it in there longer than 30 minutes because it'll freeze solid and you won't be able to get ice cream out of it. But you can see, get yourself an ice cream scooper, because look at how beautiful these turn out in these perfect scoops. The other tip would be to put frozen ice packs, maybe Jerry, you could get those for me, underneath here to keep these nice and frozen while you're making these perfect scoops. This is the way that I like to store ice cream and make ahead the night before I have a dinner party. So then I can take my scoops out of the freezer about an hour before I want to serve them and put them in the refrigerator. Perfect. Thank you, Jerry. So these I will put underneath here, just like that. That's great. While I'm making these, to keep them nice and cold so they don't melt, I want them to be in perfect scoops, just like that, especially if I'm serving them for a party. I love this ice cream. Did I mention that it's banana free? This recipe is part of Protective Diet Education, Protective Diet's premium programming, and will one day be in Protective Diet cookbooks. But until then, it's part of our application program. Scooping all of these out. And I usually get 9 scoops. But you can see this is frozen to the bottom a little bit. This might take a few minutes to soften up so that I can get it into nice scoops. The way to get a perfect scoop is to scoop it, pack it into the scooper, let it go, and then take that not so rounded side and put it into the bottom of the scooper and keep scooping. My mom used to work for Andy's Candies, and she taught me how to scoop a perfect scoop. She'd probably laugh at me now when she sees this video, because it's probably not as perfect as her scoops were for all of her 4 kids and my dad for our ice cream sundaes. And here I am celebrating ice cream again with a Protective Diet. I love this recipe. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do, and look forward to offshoots of this recipe coming up, like strawberry cheesecake ice cream. I have a whole bunch of different recipes that are going to be spin-offs of this ice cream recipe as I make my last scoop here. I'm getting an extra scoop out of this deal, Jerry.
That's great.
Maybe I'll just scoop this scoop straight into my bowl. And I like to top mine with absolutely nothing. I think this vanilla ice cream is perfect for the vanilla purist. But if you want to get into toppings, we have our toasted oats that adds a nice crunch. These are really simple toppings tonight. Frozen cherries that are defrosted. You could make a banana split using the Protective Diet chocolate fondue recipe. You could use the macerated strawberries, all of these sugar-free and plant-based, of course, on a Protective Diet. I hope you enjoy this recipe as much as Jerry and I have been. And I'm going to get these into the freezer before they melt. And then each night, when we want to have an ice cream, these will freeze solid where I can actually pick them up with my fingers really easily, no melting. And then I put them into my dish and I put this in the refrigerator about an hour before I'm gonna eat it. So maybe at the start of dinner, you could defrost your ice creams in the refrigerator for a perfect texture every night on a protective diet. One more tip I almost forgot, a really important tip. If you have a hot kitchen, if you're using your oven or you used your oven earlier in the day, I suggest taking your ice cream maker and moving it to another room. Do this in your dining room or in your bedroom or your office or even your bathroom if it's farther away. Anywhere you have an outlet. I've put it outside on a cooler day so that it freezes up fast. But the one big ice cream fail is plugging in your ice cream maker when you've got something going in the oven. Your ice cream is never going to freeze because your kitchen's heating up. You want to keep this cool. The whole point is to freeze it.